Welcome back to Non's Life. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining today. We're working again with Novesight. We are going to take a closer look at one of their LED brake light options. In my case, we're going to install 2 of them. Let's go. If the name Novesight sounds familiar, it's because I've worked with them before when we installed these Halo Series 3-inch pod lights on my GMC Sierra AT4 on these hood brackets, and so far they performed quite well. That brings me to these right here. These are a dual LED brake light with a floodlight or reverse light, depending on how you wire it up. Let's unbox them and take a closer look. Well, these should be easy to mount. We have all the hardware that's included. This bracket can be placed in all different orientations to set up the light the way that you want. Right here we have one of the lights. You can see that it does have a longer cord on it, but there's not a wiring harness. So depending how you're going to wire it up, you may want to get yourself some connectors. I'm using some Deutsch connectors myself. You may wire it directly to a switch. You just need to think of what options you have when it comes to wiring before you decide on the final installation. Now this does have dual color red functions. We have a red halo that's a soft red light here. That's kind of your running light. And then these will light up brighter red when you push on the brake. So you have 2 different contrasts of red. You have the bright in the middle, and then you have the running light on the outside. The color temperature of the brake lights is 600 K. When it comes to the floodlights or the reverse lighting, the color temperature is 6000 K. The beam pattern is wide angle and is rated at 1987 lumens. You can see all the cooling fins here. We have ventilation on the back to help with any condensation that could get trapped in there. And the waterproof rating is IP68. Now again, a reminder, due to the multiple ways that you can wire this up, definitely check out or plan out your install ahead of time. They have instructions on their website. When it comes to the wiring, of course, I'm going to walk you through what I'm going to do, which is going to involve a switch for the floodlight and the running light, but I am going to tap the 3rd brake light that exists on my truck already to get that brake light function. These are the 4 wires we're going to be hooking up. So starting with the black, that needs to be grounded. So black equals ground. Simple enough. The red wire, it is your floodlight, or as your reverse light. The white wire is your brake light. Sorry about my bad writing. Or you could hook it up as signal lights. We're gonna do it as brake light, and we're going to do it as floodlight. We got our ground, and this yellow wire here, there's not much left, you guessed it. It is your running light, which is the light red. So those are our 4 wires. Now let's get into the wiring. First, we want to decide exactly where we're going to mount them so we know how much wire to use. So with the included hardware, we are going to first install our bracket. You can't go this way because of the cooling fins, the way they're designed. So you can put the bracket like this or like this, depending on your needs. Then you have these bolts with included lock washers and a regular washer. And we're just going to start threading them in and attaching everything. Now it's as simple as hanging it. You have 2 different bolts that they provide. You would just slip it through the hole right here. Notice I haven't tightened this fully yet. And then you would attach your washers and your nut, and you would tighten it wherever you're going to install it. But for me, I'm going to install it on my overlanding rack. This is the Kuat Ibex system, and we have these T-channel slots underneath these rails. We have them on the sides here, so I could do it here. We could do it inside here. We could do it here. There's so many options. We could do it underneath. We could do it on top. I think I want to do it right there. I think one of these here and one of these over there will look really good. So that's what we're going to do, which means I could use the hardware for the T-slot. So I'm gonna have to use this, and then it will thread into my T-nut, which will be in here. So to wire this on my system is gonna be pretty simple. I've got a pipe right here that I installed to feed my wiring through for this light. That's all done in previous videos if you care to see that process. And this wire will go all the way along that pipe into this pipe here, and then it'll go all the way down under the cab of the truck to the front of the truck where my switch panel is. For the brake light though, I have a 3rd brake light right here already that's part of this system. This is already tapped into the 3rd brake light on the truck. That's what this wiring is right here. So this is a functional third brake light already. I'm just gonna find somewhere in this existing harness to tap that signal. Then I should be able to get the brake light function working on these without having to tap the tail lights or anything like that, which is an important point. If you wanted to use 2 of these and have them work with a signal light, then you would want to tap your tail light for the signal light function to be separate for left signal and right signal. But I just want the brake light function, which is why I'm just going to tap a brake light and not signal lights. All right, my friends, we've made some progress. Let me give you an update. So the lights are clearly mounted. We can aim them differently if we decide to later on. Now the wiring harness that comes out of this lamp is going along this pipe here, and then it is coming out on the same side as the lamp that's on this side. So we have both harnesses here, and we have this blue wire. This blue wire here is for the brake light. So I've tapped in to this third brake light. It was spliced in way down in that corner to the third brake light in my truck, right in the middle there. So I was able to just go to that joint, run that blue wire all the way through here, up through this pipe, across this pipe, down here. Now I have these 2 harnesses ready to plug into the receiving ends, and I have the blue wire here, which we'll have to connect separately. So if we go over to the workbench, we've got the other side of these Deutsch connectors here. So we're just going to pair up all the colors. And then the blue one will connect to the blue wire, yellow with yellow, red with red, black with black, which are these wires right here, which I'm starting to measure out. You can see they're kind of looped around here, and they are just sitting here, ready to connect to my switch panel. But of course, I'll have to fish all of that underneath the cab, all the way to where the box splits right here. And then I'll come up with this wire here, which is for the front light bar. And then they will go along the pipe that's in behind here. And all my connections will be made in this area and concealed. So that is where we're at. I just thought you might want to know.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So this is what the wiring is going to look like, all tucked up here in the tube. I was just doing some tests, and good news, everything's working the way that I want, but you're gonna have to wait till the end for that. I still need to run the wire underneath the cab of the truck, so I've just been playing around with it right here. But I was just informed by my wife that we need to haul a barbecue with the truck. So we're going to pick this install up either at another location because we're headed to the lake this weekend. You probably won't know the difference. Either way, we'll get this done and then we'll do the reveal. Well, I hope you enjoyed that footage. I know I did, and I noticed something neat here. So the shape of these lights kind of matches up to the shape of the exhaust pipe. So I think that is really cool. Clearly we got our other lights in the bumper. It all ties in together. And that's the main thing that I wanted. I wanted it to all work together and make sense. Can always paint these down the road as well. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that those are paintable, but I think these Novesight 4.5-inch halo tail lights are pretty cool. So if you want to get yourself a set and light up those things behind you, just like I will be when I pick up my boat or drop it off when it's nighttime, definitely check out Novesight's website. I'll leave a link in the video description below. Also use the promo code DonsLife to save yourself some money. Anyway, if you like this video, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing, and we'll talk to you next time.